Hey everybody, it's John here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today in another episode of VidGamiac vs. Import, and we are playing Ore no Yome. This is going to be another visual novel, however this one plays more like a dating sim, and I'll explain that a little later on. But the first thing you want to do is you want to go into the options, click the first option, and you want to set everything like this. So make sure you adjust all of the blue squares to these options. That'll make sure you can fast forward the game and stuff. So once you have that, make sure you hit the back button by hitting B, and then you want to hit this option down here, which is to confirm everything. The game should save. Just pick yes, which is always going to be the top option, and you should be good. The game should ask you to save like twice, I think. So just put yes for both times. Once you get to this part, you might get stuck. Just hit the A button. Just keep hitting A until you get the options, and then hit yes, and then you should be good. So that will allow us to play the game a lot quicker because we can fast forward. And fast forwarding is always a key thing with visual novels. Pick new game, which is going to be the first option on the title screen, and then the game will bring up a text field. This will be pretty much your character's name, so just type something 6 or less characters. You can type whatever, and you can even put a smiley face if you want to. Alright, then the game's going to ask you for a number 1 through 12. Essentially, you're putting in your birthday, so you put in whatever also. So you can put in any number for the month, and then it's going to ask you for the day. So any number 1 through 28, 30, or 31, depending on what month it is. So just put that in, just put something random. Then it's going to ask you this. I just picked the top option. Not totally sure what this is, but just going to go with the first option. Then you have to pick a girl. This is going to be the girl you will be dating in the game. You can pick whatever one suits your fancy. I heard you won't be able to get all the achievements if you pick the second girl, so I'm going to avoid her and pick the 5th girl, because she has a bow tie, and bow ties are awesome. So then what you want to do is you want to put in her name as well as her birthday. So once again, just pick random Japanese characters and then a random birthday, and preferably one different from yours, because, you know, it's kind of weird having the same birthday as your significant other. So just put that. Then the game is going to start, and to fast forward in this game you need to hit the X button. So in most visual novels it's going to be right bumper, but in this game it's going to be X. So just hit X and the game should auto fast forward, and it will stop every time you need to make a choice. Now, if you've been with us for a while and have played a lot of visual novels, you know that choices are important. However, in this game the choices aren't really so important. This game is a lot of randomness to it, which we'll point out later on, and it's also what makes this game frustrating. Also, this game hands you out achievements like crazy, so just get ready to notice that. But every time you have to make a choice, what you want to do is you want to pick the top option. So it's kind of like Mass Effect, how the choices aren't really that really significant, because, you know, it's either good or bad. It's the same concept for this game, where the top option is usually the best option and the bottom option is the bad option. So just keep picking the top option, and your goal is to make the girl obviously like you and go out with you. So just keep praising her, and the praise option is usually the top option. The only instance where you aren't going to pick the top option is if you get caught in an infinite loop. Let's say the character like won't shut up and you just keep repeating the same conversation choices over and over. In that case, just pick the bottom option, and eventually you should get out of the loop. And I'll point those out along the way. I'll also point out other key achievement stuff along the way. But as always, enjoy the walkthrough. That's going to be it for this part. Just get through the game. The game has a calendar system, and you just pretty much have to get through the year and try to win over the girl's affections. Alright, so you're going to get to these screens quite frequently in the game. It's pretty much picking your date location. It's going to be about 6 to 8 locations depending on like time of year and if you've bought certain like costumes or stuff. But it depends on what your girl likes. So for example, my girl likes going to the park, the movies, or the mall. And she hates going to the arcade or the karaoke bar. So once again, it depends on what girl you pick. So just try to find a location that suits her and take her there. You know she likes it if your LP goes up, and LP stands for love points. There's an achievement to get that up to 100. However, it's going to take like 3 years to get there, and we're only covering the first year in this video, up to the point where we will get a lot done. However, there is more stuff done in the post game. So there's another achievement. Cool. We've already gotten 4 achievements and a bunch of gamer score in like the last 5 minutes. And there's another one for 50. As you can see, the game hands out achievements like crazy. Another thing with the dates is there's specific mini-game achievements that can only be gotten at certain locations. I think there's only one, which is the juice drinking mini-game, and that has to be done in the market street, which is the upper left. So if you're at the end of the game and you're struggling to get that achievement, make sure you just keep picking the city market, and you should get the juice drinking minigame eventually. But once again, I'll point that out when it comes along in the guide. Right now, we're just trying to get through the first year and getting our love points out of the way. Alright, so eventually, once you get to this roof right here, you are going to propose to her. I know it's a weird place to propose in like Chaos Head Noah. You got some like teenagers ready to jump off. But anyways, as long as you played your cards right and weren't a total jerk to her, you propose. The game has a nice autumn sunset, or I guess it's spring because we're in March. You get an achievement for 50 gamer score for successfully proposing. The credits should start rolling, and eventually you see her in a wedding dress. And what you need to do in this part is make sure you get to New Game Plus successfully. So whenever the game gives you an option after the credits, just always pick the top option. As long as you're picking the top option, the game will let you continue on to the following year. That's very important because we are going to do New Game Plus a couple of times because we need to get at least to the third year in order to get all the achievements. But that's going to be it for this part. Check back soon where we'll cover year 2, and that's all there is to it.